Good afternoon, everybody. Pleased to have you so numerous here. This afternoon session is about promoting public understanding of science and technology. My name is Thomas Friedrich. I'm science editor for the German newspaper Die Welt, based in Brussels for 15 years now. Promoting public understanding, it's not a new issue. Already in 2006, the European Commission launched an initiative and a program called Science and Society and dedicated the amount of money from 100 million euros to bring science and research topics closer to European citizens. We want to discuss in the afternoon where we are and what is state of art. I want to raise the question, are researchers good communicators? Are women better than men? And what... Okay, I already see some answers. So, in the contrary, I hear already the answers. In the contrary to the normal procedure, I want to address some questions to the audience in the beginning. Normally, as you know, at the end of the session, time is running away. So I want to ask you, do we need better communication in the European Union?
I think it's an obvious yes by any, I mean, what do you mean by communication? I think you always need to communicate more wherever you are, really.
We are talking about science and research. Do you feel you're well informed about science and research topics in the European Union?
I am, because I work at the university, so I'm fairly well informed. I think, though, that the science has a responsibility to communicate to the wider audience in order to motivate the funding that goes into research.
So this was Linus from Lund University. Of course, if you have a panel discussion here on the stakeholder city in Brussels, you are all around with experts. I don't ask now who is in the Copper Hall can provide us with a pure European citizen perspective. But I want to ask you as well, do we need better science communication in the European Union?
I think communication consists of two aspects, both speaking and listening. And I think there's a lot of speaking in Europe, and there should be more listening.
Thanks. Last but not least, Istvan.
You know, I am almost 31 years as a science journalist, so it is a bloody question, because I know it is really essential to have a much stronger communication between the science and the society, and there are big lacks and there are big gaps still now.
Okay, last but not Europe, Andy.
Hi, yeah.
What are your expectations for better communicating science and research?
Well, I think one thing that we would like to see is something more of a scientific method, which is critical thinking. I don't think there's enough of that sometimes, being a journalist on the end of your communication stream.
Okay, thanks. This was the first shortcut start. Promoting public understanding of science and technology. So one of the core questions would as well, of course, how to deal with controversial issues in the science community, like nuclear power after Fukushima, gene-modified organism in food and feed. What about biotechnology in Europe? And how will we deal with safeguards in nanotechnology, a hype topic which will come up in the coming years? I'm delighted that today we have an excellent communicator we will listen to. Professor Richard Dawkins has established himself as a biological guru. With his publication of books, he has clearly shown that communicating complicated research and science topics is possible. And he's among those few excellent communicators in Europe, and he proved it to bring complicated matters to the public. Dawkins has been, and I quote now, has been concerned to convince the literate public that they must now take evolutionary theory seriously as a context within which to think about ourselves and the world. It was Richard Dawkins who expanded in his books upon the Darwinian theory. Professor Richard Dawkins is the winner of the International Cosmos Prize in 1997 already, and he was the first holder of the Charles Simonyi Chair for the Public Understanding of Science. He graduated in Oxford, and I will not mention all the books he wrote, but I recommend heavily to put it under the Christmas tree. He started in 1967 with The Selfish Gene, and one among his bestsellers, River Out of Eden. And just recently, in September 2011, he published the book The Magic of Reality. Okay, thanks a lot, Professor Dawkins. It's a pleasure to have you here. The floor is yours.